Sonic the Hedgehog has always had a distinctive sound. In the Genesis days, the sound was electropop, heavily influenced by pop songs of the era, and in the case of Sonic 3, even composed by pop stars of the time. But as Sonic shifted into 3D in 1998 with Dreamcast's Sonic Adventure, so too did the sound shift, focusing on rock and roll music. The man behind this change was none other than Sonic Adventure sound director Jun Senoue, Japanese composer, guitarist, and Sega contributor. Sonic Adventure marked his first time as sound director for a Sonic game, though he had contributed on previous soundtracks. Sonic Adventure and its soundtrack had been deemed a success, but when it came time to write music for Sonic Adventure 2, Senoue endeavored to, quote, write songs that promoted the game's speed and situations while keeping the best tempo of the stage, end quote. Senoue and the many contributing musicians on the game try to capture the game's feeling through melodic rock, orchestral tracks, and even hip-hop, and the end result is like most Sonic 3D games in general, a mixed bag. However, the track for Sonic's first level in the game perfectly hits Senoue's target, thanks to his composition and the performances of Sega contributors Ted Poley and Tony Parnell. Pretty cool. Anyway, Sonic designer and regular producer Yuji Naka was recently arrested under suspicion of insider trading, and I bet he wishes he could make like Sonic at the start of Sonic Adventure 2 right now. That's right, we're talking Jun Senoue's Escape from the City, performed by Ted Poley and Tony Parnell on Cover Me. That's right, it's Cover Me, the only podcast that compares famous songs to their many cover versions to find out which one has been seen heading south. I'm your host, as always, The Snake, joined by my dangerous co-host.
Alex Mildenberger. That's my Sonic voice. It didn't go very well.
Hang on. I'm The Snake, joined by Alex Mildenberger. It's a tough one. You know what? Sonic Frontiers, he's got a deeper voice now. He's older, wiser.
I haven't seen any of that. I know he has a new voice actor, though.
New voice actor.
Or newish.
Can you imagine if they like God of War Sonic the Hedgehog and we get him as like an old man? He like can't run as fast.
It's got to get back into it. Honestly, I wouldn't put it past them. Like they kind of sometimes push for, more, they try to go for like darker themes or whatever. And it's just funny because it's a bunch of mascot suits running around and crying about things.
Well, like Sonic has like real
Sonic
Pepsi
games.
syndrome or like Burger King syndrome where they're number 2, right? So they have to try like outlandish shit to get something to stick.
Which makes it interesting a lot of the time.
Yeah, if nothing else, it's a lot of failure, but like it's an interesting thing to watch.
Especially for like a relatively high profile franchise.
Yeah, and the thing is like even when he has a dog shit game, like the fan base is so solid that it sells well enough for them to make another one.
Yeah, somehow. And like I don't play that many Sonic games, but I'm always watching them. I always want to know what they're going to do next.
Yeah, I've always got an eye on them. And
I frequently like consider like, oh, maybe I'll play this one. Maybe I could, and then I never do or rarely do. But every once in a while.
Alex, hit me with it. Give me a wild Sonic take. What's a critically derided Sonic game that you actually enjoy?
I haven't played that many of them, honestly.
Sure, but most of them are critically derided, so you could pick any game.
So I could pick any of them. But like I have like skipped most of them. The Sonic Rush games were the ones I played the most.
Yeah, I think those are phenomenal games too.
Yeah. I enjoyed them quite a bit. Yeah. And I didn't like play Advance. Really,
okay.
I played Adventure 2 Battle for GameCube.
Okay, yeah. Hell yeah, that's valid for today.
And that's like not much else. Not much else.
I could have sworn you were going to just be like, "Hey, Sonic and the Seven Rings, good game."
Actually, I enjoyed playing it back in the day. I played it quite a bit actually. Now that you're bringing it up,
I did as well.
I don't know. I just went along with the ride, I guess.
Fucking A, right. I think my crazy Sonic opinion, and it's probably just nostalgia talking, but the Game Boy Advance fighter game, Sonic Battle,
right?
That one I actually enjoyed.
That was I haven't played it, but I've like seen it, and it looks cool because it's like a 3D brawler.
Yeah,
or a 3D
Game Boy Advance
plane.
You have these 2D
on the Game Boy
sprites,
Advance.
on a 3D plane.
And it's all done with like affine transformations, like Mode 7 stuff.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
It's pretty cool. But best Sonic game, I think, by and far for me, and it's probably 100% nostalgia talking, because even like thinking back to playing it, I can remember all these glitches and jank, but that is Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, which I got for the GameCube, and probably when it came out or the year after, like 2003. And boy, what a fucking ride, Alex. You said you played Sonic Adventure 2 Battle as well.
I did, yeah. My brother borrowed it from his friend, and we played it quite a bit for a while.
Fuck yeah.
I remember, we were looking at it, and we were like, wait, how do you say it? Because it's not that difficult to see, but we were
talking
confused.
about Chows?
Well, not Chow. No, I mean the title. We were like, is it Sonic Adventure Battle 2? Is there a Sonic Adventure? We were confused, but we were also very young, so looking at it now, it's not that confusing. But it's a little confusing.
And not understanding that it was a remake of a Dreamcast game.
Yeah.
That contributed to my confusion.
I didn't even know what a Dreamcast was at the time, probably.
I think I knew what a Dreamcast was because I wanted one because it had Sonic on it.
Of course.
So, like, that's the thing is, like, I love Mario and he's always number one for me, but, like, there was always that not having a Sega growing up that, like, crushed me because Sonic was cool as hell. And I'd played, like, 2D Sonic games at my quote-unquote uncle's house, not my actual uncle, just a friend of my father.
Right.
And I was like, God damn, I want to play Sonic on demand. Like, I want to be able to do that whenever.
I want to have Sonic on tap. Yeah, I remember one time, because the community center in my community growing up had various organizations that would meet there. And I don't remember who I was meeting there with. But there was a different group, and they had, like, a room to themselves, and they had a Genesis. And I remember we, like, broke in there one day and, like, played Sonic 2. And that was like, oh, they have Sonic 2.
Sonic 2. Sonic 2 is a great game.
Yeah.
That's amazing, Alex. You broke in there. Can you?
Well, it was they probably left it unlocked or something.
Okay, you're just like, sweet.
And we were like, oh, this room has a bunch of toys that we don't normally play with. And also a TV and a Genesis.
And a Genesis. That's the dream, man. That's the dream right there.
Yeah.
Now, Alex, let's bring it back to Sonic Adventure 2. Do you have fond memories of the soundtrack? Bad memories? Any highlights for you? What do you think of the soundtrack?
Oh, I mean, I was totally into it back in the day. And not that I was, like, listening to it, but, like, I mean, really, I remember this song, and I remember, like, Live and Learn, which I think was the same game. In my memory, it is, anyway.
It is, yes. So Live and Learn is, like, the main theme for this game. Performed by Crush 40, which is Jun Senoue and Johnny Gioli.
Yeah.
Gioli.
Yeah, I don't know. And then my understanding was that other vocalist whose name escapes me right now.
Ted Poley.
The one who's not Ted Poley.
Tony Parnell.
Tony Parnell sings Live and Learn, and then Ted Poley sings this song.
No, it's got to be. It's
man.
Crush 40 who performs Live and Learn, so it's got to be a Johnny Gioli on your vocals.
Does he sing?
Yes. And so
maybe I don't know what the fuck's going on then.
You don't know what the fuck.
Because I swear I read it, but I cannot find. I swear I had a link up that had that, but I can't find it. So I might have made it up.
Because Crush 40 is very specifically those two entities, is Johnny G and your boy Jun. And so
anyway, those are the ones I remember.
Yeah, they get together for, like, usually the title tracks on Sonic games. They haven't been together for a Sonic game since 2019, but they first contributed on the original Sonic Adventure for the, like, title track or main theme for that game. And if you listen to those vocals and then also listen to the vocals for Live and Learn, which phenomenal track. Is it butt rock? Yeah, probably. Yeah. Is it rock fucking hard though? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's unusual, particularly for the time, but, like, we've talked about video game music before, but it's rarely lyrical.
Yes.
There's some series that are kind of known for lyrical music, like your Personas. Even, like, The World Ends With You has a lot of lyrics and stuff, but it's less common, I would say.
Yeah, and those are also in the aftermath of, like, Sonic Adventure. Like, that wasn't happening.
That's true.
At that time.
And, like, cartridge days, they couldn't fit like actual vocal tracks on. Yeah,
you just didn't have the space for it.
Yeah.
My question to you, Alex, is we've talked about this, and I'm sure many people of our generation relate, but your parents being like, that's not music. It's just bleeps and bloops. Did this feel like a piece of evidence, like a smoking gun in your favor? You're like, check this out, though, there's lyrics.
You know, that conversation was later in my life.
Oh, okay.
I even at this time wasn't necessarily paying attention to the music, even though I was kind of. But I wasn't like, oh, this is video game music. It was like, oh, this is just some more music that is happening at me.
Right.
You know?
It was just taken for granted. You're just like, there has to be noise while I'm playing the game. And
yeah, and like, that's it. And I'm sure my parents would still say, can you turn that down? All that, if it was too loud or whatever. But yeah, unfortunately, that never entered into it.
Okay. For me, this was like I was like, holy shit, real music. And my dad was like, yeah, but it sucks ass. I was like, no fucking way. Escape from the
You
City.
mean butt rock?
What? Because it's butt rock, Dad? How dare you? But I do remember my sibling and previous guest, Griffin, had to like special order the album from HMV. Had to like phone in and be like, y'all got this album? They're like, we can get it for you. And they're like, yeah,
all right.
Let me get that. All this to say, yeah, huge emotional attachment to this.
Okay.
And listening to this song this week, what a thrill. To reference a different video game song entirely.
Yeah, another video game song with lyrics.
But truly, like, looking at the soundtrack, and I kind of listened to a bit of like the ones I remembered, this one is a standout, I think, because it, like, one, it's the first one you hear, and two, I think like they really nailed the, like, this is a video game track with upbeat lyrics, and also here's just a ton of fucking slap bass that you didn't expect.
Yeah, I mean, given the time period, it like fits in with that too, right? Because it was like, was it 2000? Yeah, 2001, which is like, yeah, okay, there's pop punk happening. It's huge, and of course, that's what we're gonna do because we're cool, right?
Yeah, it really does draw on like pop punk, like ska punk, and yeah, just like rock and roll being in the mainstream, like being the pop music of the time. And buddy, let me tell you, lyrically, it opens the best way any song can open, besides opening with a chorus, because of course, don't bore us.
Yeah.
The intro is woo. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Come on, you already know to be excited.
Yeah, I mean, the song is just, obviously you already mentioned, like, it was meant to capture the feeling of the Sonic, of going fast.
Yes.
And it works. Like, it's a fast song. It keeps it up. It's
absolutely
frenetic.
It captures the gameplay. It captures the Sonic imagery of like edgy cool. Like, contrasting this to Nintendo's like fun orchestral soundtracks, like Sonic was really going in another direction, and like, did it play out for them in the long run? Not really. Was it still a great decision, I think? Yeah.
Yeah, it was like too much trend chasing. Like you said, he's got to go for it because he's number 2, right? But I mean, around the same time, we get Mario, Super Mario Sunshine. Like, that's a very different mood. That's a very different sound to this.
That is a very different sound to this.
That's very different. But anyway, lyrics.
And in some way, they're like we say, they're trend chasing, but Sonic is still like trying to chase the high of this soundtrack, where it's like, his stuff is usually rock and roll focused. It's a lot more like screaming, like I want to say emo, but I feel like that's a bit umbrella.
Although I think that is part of it.
But yeah, definitely a part of it. So like, I don't know. You're right. It's part of this darkness, edginess coming into rock and roll, but not being able to be like, well, we're going to do Sonic death metal, but we still need to be edgy without being just like sludge.
Death metal's not popular enough. They couldn't.
No,
they wouldn't do it.
But if you're listening to this in game, you're going to of course get some in game audio that says, "Attention all units, suspect seen heading south. Block all major roads and capture the suspect." Yeah,
because Sonic's being chased by Gun, which is the organization. I forget what it stands for.
I was gonna look it up. It's not just like Good United Nations, is it?
I don't remember. I wonder if I've got the Sonic wiki up.
The Guardian Units of Nations.
Yeah. Okay.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So he's being chased by Gun in the city. So the level itself is called City Escape. Song is called Escape from the City. So they're very similar. Is City Escape a pun on the term cityscape?
Maybe.
Because they sound very similar. But like,
sound very
I
similar.
never thought about that before, like this week.
That's true. And like, yeah, what a start to a game. You jump out of a helicopter, riding a piece of that helicopter.
Yeah, he like jumps out of the helicopter and then like stands on it for a minute. And he's like, I'm out of here. This is late. Like, and then jumps down into the city while pulling a piece off and then using it as a a street board.
Yeah, it doesn't have wheels on it, so
No.
it is more of like a snowboard on concrete.
Concrete, yeah. And that's the beginning of the level, and then that's when this comes in.
Yeah.
The level, there's like a screen that shows you what level it is with a little like blue circle to show you playing Sonic, and then you get that bass line. Yeah, which I'm sure we'll get into. But for now,
we're going to get into it because it is one of the highlights of this song.
Absolutely.
And for people who are confused as to why Sonic's a criminal, also insider trading.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. He's accused of being Shadow the Hedgehog, who's like the villain counterpoint. You guys all know this. Come on, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, you all know the story of Sonic Adventure 2, right?
I think if you're going to know anyone, you probably know. Because like even
I forgot
Shadowback,
that,
they're like, it's all you really need to know is like there's a bad hedgehog, but we like him.
Because he's an anti-hero.
That's right, baby. Rolling around at the speed of sound, got places to go, gotta follow my rainbow. Can't stick around, have to keep moving on. Guess what lies ahead? Only one way to find out.
Yeah, he's going fast, man. Can't stop.
Yeah, that's just a description of Sonic.
Yeah, although it has some like gotta follow my rainbow, some like stuff in there, which is not something I hear a lot.
Well, because he's a queer icon, so it's follow my rainbow.
The idea of like the gold pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, or like luck at the end of the rainbow, that's not something I've heard much about in a long time. I don't know if that was just big at the time. I feel like we used to talk about it a lot.
Right.
Like we see a rainbow and we're like, gotta look for that pot of gold.
That's right. And you'd be getting pot of gold chocolate every year, and you're like, we all know where the rainbow goes. We are gold. It's a pot of gold.
And like, I remember in school making leprechaun traps.
Yes.
Anyway.
I was so convinced when I made one. I was just a big rock covered in gold tinfoil. And if the leprechaun was real, it would have killed him. But I was like, this is going to work. We get to like place him around the school. I just placed it right in front of the classroom door. I was like, these other fucking idiots are like deep in the classroom. I'm like, he's coming through the door, guys. I was pissed when I didn't catch him, but you know. Maybe next year. Maybe this is the year coming up. But yeah, gotta follow my rainbow. You're right. That is weird, like imagery. I didn't even think about that. I just thought about, and this is dumb, but like Bit Trip Runner, I guess, where you run so fast, there's a rainbow behind you.
Yeah, you're like diffracting light. You're going so fast, which I don't even know if that works.
Yeah,
but
also you wouldn't be following it. Your rainbow would be following you.
Yeah.
So I think you're right because there is a positivity.
It's like you follow your good fortunes. Like you need to. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, listen, I can't stick around. I have to keep moving forward, and like that's whatever Sonic. Lies ahead, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get to something good at the end. So yeah, follow my rainbow. I'm going towards the good times. Let's see. Does the Sonic fandom wiki have any good connections to say about this? Here we go. Yes, connections to the character /stage on the fandom wiki. Rolling around at the speed of sound. Sonic's ability to roll into a ball and travel at supersonic speed.
That's true. That's big because he's a hedgehog, so he rolls into a ball.
Yeah, that's crazy. So for got places to go, gotta follow my rainbow. It says Sonic's adventurous nature, and he follows what he thinks.
Yeah, I don't know if that sentence checks out, but I think they're trying to say what we said.
But in a lesser way. Can't stick around, have to keep moving on. Here's a little piece you might not have been able to pick up. Sonic never stays in one place for too long.
Oh, because he's so fast. He gets...
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's also like... gameplay informing character, kind of, right?
That's right.
Because the whole idea behind him is that he's fast. So like, okay, so he moves fast, but he also like thinks fast and gets bored easily.
That's right. He's a fast talker. His classic idle animation is him like crossing his arms and tapping his foot.
Just like getting bored. And eventually, I think it's in the first game. They might do it in the other ones. Like if you just leave him for long enough, he just like leaves.
Does he leave?
And like I'm pretty sure, and you like get I don't know if you get a game over or lose a life or what.
Damn, he jumps off. Like, you gotta fucking. I gotta go. If you're not gonna play this game, I got things to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. We come to the pre-chorus. Must keep on moving ahead. No time for guessing. Follow my plan instead. Trusting in what you can't see. Take my lead. I'll set you free.
Yeah, that's. I feel like that's weird because it's like, okay, we can't stop moving, but we also have to have already planned this out.
Yeah, that line is crazy to me, right? No time for guessing, follow my plan instead.
But like, are we living by like the seat of our pants?
Pants, or are we planning things out in advance? I feel like we've put two opposite ideas in juxtaposition and picked the less Sonic-y one. I don't think he's typically a plan guy.
Yeah.
I don't think he planned to get kidnapped and then take a piece of helicopter to board down the streets.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, oh, I don't really plan ahead, but also like I got stuck in a helicopter and my first instinct was to jump out of it.
Yeah.
Like onto the wing.
Yeah, onto the... So, but then I guess maybe we can read No Time for Guessing. Is there an implied second guessing?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. So it's like
I don't have time to hesitate. Yeah. I'm going with my plan, which is the initial instinct, just to board down these streets.
That makes more sense. Just go with the flow, but it makes it sound like not that.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, he talks about this with following in his rainbow, again, trusting in what you can't see. Sonic is a man of faith. This has always been key to his character.
Yeah.
He believes in the unseeable.
He's got the like the easygoing thing going on, like, it's not going to work out if we just be good or whatever.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't matter, because whatever happens, you can handle it.
You can handle it. Take my lead, I'll set you free. So Sonic's saying, like, I'm going to get us, one, out of the city, two, out of this capitalist system, I think.
Yeah, that's also where we kind of shift perspectives a little bit. Not really, but like he was talking about himself. Or the song is talking
to you.
Now he's talking to you, so he's bringing you along. And that, like, given the context, it's like a video game where you are a character, but you're also controlling a character. And, like, you're kind of there. It's almost like brings you in.
Right. And it's story. Like trust the Sonic ideology to get through the level.
Which kind of... I mean, in terms of how the gameplay works in these games, there's a lot of parts where you are in control, but then there's parts where you just have to let the game happen. Either because if you do something, you'll fall off a cliff, or just because you literally have no control.
Yeah, you're just like on some Hot Wheels loops, and it's like, well, look at Sonic Go, and you're like, I feel enjoyment even though I'm really not doing anything.
Oh, hit the boost. Yeah. So the song kind of mirrors that.
Yeah. From there, take my lead. If we go to the chorus, follow me, set me free, trust me, and we will escape from the city. I'll make it through, follow me. And then we get that again. Follow me, set me free. Trust me, and we'll escape from the city. I'll make it through. Prove it to you. Follow me. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it's funny because he says, I'll set you free. And then in the chorus, we have to set him free. So you're maybe this is, and maybe we're just jumping in too deep, but maybe this is talking about the bond of player to avatar and vice versa. We have to trust in Sonic as much as Sonic has to trust in us.
Yeah, and then there's the physical of, like, he literally needs to not be captured by Gun.
Yeah, he's like, please use the joystick and the A button to help me jump through the city and escape Gun.
Like, I'll set you free from your boring life or whatever, but also you're setting me free from, like, literally just captivity.
Yeah, especially because he's literally running around in what I think is like a fictionalized San Francisco, I want to say.
Yeah, San Francisco. There's lots of hills. Apparently, Sonic Team kind of relocated from Japan to San Francisco. And that was part of... It's a whole drama, like a whole bit of drama. Like, there were 2 Sonic teams for a while.
Yeah, there's STD, I think is the one in... Sega Technical Development, and then there's Sonic Team.
Right.
So Sega Technical, or either their Technical Development or Technical Institute. I cannot remember if they're STI or STD, but I think they're actually STI. But they were, so Yuji Naka was working with them for a while, and they were going to release the first 3D Sonic game for the Saturn. And then he kind of stopped them from using certain things. He didn't want them using the Knights engine, and then was insistent that Sonic Team should handle the first 3D Sonic game. So one, it kind of put a nail in the coffin of the Saturn because there was no mainline Sonic title, and then 2, it didn't help old STI, Sega Technical Institute, STI.
Yeah, plus the first 3D Sonic game is now delayed further because the first 3D Mario game is 96?
Yes,
and then the first 3D Sonic game is 99.
98, I believe.
98? Still, 2 years?
basically released simultaneously with the Dreamcast, if not just a couple of months after. It was because they were like, hey, we're making the Dreamcast. He's like, that's what 3D Sonic should be on.
Yes.
And so
give me a joystick. I don't want to roll a ball.
Exactly.
That's
they built it alongside
Saturn
that.
Controller has a rolly ball. Or there is a rolly ball Saturn controller.
That's insane to me. I love
Maybe they don't all
controls.
have a rolly ball.
It sounds like I don't know. It sounds like I guess, rolly balls on mice have worked for years. So why not have it on a controller? It'd be easy to pop out and clean it. I actually lost what line we got.
I think we just did finish the chorus and we're moving into the second
That's
verse.
right. He's going to prove it to you.
Yeah.
Because he's Sonic. He's got things to prove. He is number 2.
That's true. He is Adventure 2.
Well, yeah, it's Sonic Adventure 2. Prove it to you. It's the numeral 2.
Ow. Sorry.
Did you just experience such joy at lyrics that cause pain?
I tried to lean on my arm, but I poked myself.
Damn, Alex. Alex, danger is lurking around every turn. Trust your feelings, got to live and learn. Let's talk about that right there. Live and learn.
We got a little bit of foreshadowing.
Yes, dude. What? Also, it slots in perfectly. He's talking about kind of like blazing your own trail, following your rainbow. Not ignoring danger so much as accepting it and trusting yourself to overcome it.
And partially just describing the level that you're playing.
Yeah, danger's lurking around.
Danger's lurking around every turn. You're like, oh shit, he's right, there's a gun robot.
And you're whipping around here pretty quick. So he's saying, trust your feelings, and even if you get injured, you gotta live and learn. That's a life philosophy, so you're gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
But he knows that with some luck, that'll make it through. Got no more other options. A lot of words tucked in there.
Yeah.
Only one thing to do.
Yeah, too many words, probably.
Yeah, you probably could just take out the more.
Yeah, you could elongate that no.
Yeah, got no other options.
That's the thing, is he doesn't have time to second guess his questionable lyrical choices.
That's right.
Because he's got to go fast.
Yeah, he's only got one thing to do, and that is go fast. But yeah, verse 2, and this is kind of in the simple style of like 60s music, where it's like, here's the basic idea. Sonic runs fast and trusts in instinct. Verse 2 expands on that same concept, but kind of hammers similarly.
Yeah, and then also tells it in the style of popular rock and roll music at the time, which is very pop punk, and it fits in what is a fairly pop punk somewhat surface level romance, not romance necessarily, but could be construed in that way.
I'll set you free. It is
let's be together and that'll be good.
Yeah, I can show you the world. We got a bit of Aladdin going on here, right?
Yeah.
We'll escape from the city.
Yeah, exactly. Aladdin, famous pop punk musical.
Pop punk musical Aladdin. Yeah, that's the one. We get the pre-chorus again. We get the chorus again. That's really it.
Yeah, it's not very long.
To you.
It's not a very long song at all. It's although there is an extended introduction that plays in the game.
Yes.
When in the helicopter scene, and it's got more horns and stuff. But it's mostly a bass jam with some horns.
One more question before we get full on this instrumentation, Alex. What did you think he was saying when he said got no more other options? Did you always know it was that?
I think my brain just blocked out the more part.
Okay.
I think I've always heard it as got no other options. It's just so fast it blended together, and my brain was like, that's not another word. That would be weird.
It was one of those things. When I was younger, sometimes I would be like, I don't know what they're saying in this song. And my parents would be like, well, you'll understand when you're older. And I was like, this must just be one of those things. And I waited. I was like, maybe one day I'll know what these words are, and they must be some
something
new
profound.
and exciting words, something profound. And then this week I'm like, oh yeah, no more other options.
No, it just doesn't make sense. Okay, yeah.
It just sounds weird when he says it.
Just questionable grammar.
Yeah. But what is not questionable is how much this bass, literally and figuratively, slaps.
Yeah. The intro of it's the main riff of the song just on the bass, slapped.
Yes.
It's quite good. It's a good introduction to the song.
Yeah,
what's coming
about energy. We start with a slapping bass, and then a dude just comes in and goes woo, and then oh yeah.
And you're also snowboarding down a city street at this point.
Yes.
Just smashing into cars constantly.
Never have you been more assured that $60 was well spent. like, all right, me and Sonic are going to have a good time.
Yeah, with this tiny, tiny disc. Because I played it on GameCube.
That's right, me too. Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Yeah. Shout out to the GameCube. The bass is the most intricate part of this, though.
Yeah,
it grooving around, man. Even in the verses. And as we'll see in a later video, it is all slap and pop. Like the dude playing bass in this live performance, we'll see. All slap and pop.
Yeah. It doesn't take very long, though, for the guitar and the drums come in, because it does the riff a bit, and then the guitar comes in and basically does that same riff.
Yeah.
For like a while. It's just doubled up now.
Yeah.
And being energetic and stuff, yeah. And the drums, fast drums.
And then in the verse, the guitar is like it's doing a skank, right?
Yeah, basically. There's at least 2 guitars there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's like a high one, and they're kind of opposite, because one, it's basically I don't know if it's technically a skank, but it's like a very fast like backbeat rhythm guitar, and that's like your higher guitar. But it is definitely like that kind of playing, right? Because like it's like you mute, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of alternates like 2 and 1, but like on the backbeat. And then there's another guitar though that's like entirely muted, but sometimes it allows the notes to ring, and it's almost like a record scratch sound. So they're kind of like opposite. One will be like ring, mute, and the other one's like mute, ring, mute, ring.
And you're getting those playing basically in the opposite side. So one's on your left speaker, one's on the right.
Yeah, and they're like pretty hard pan to the side.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
So yeah, you got that to kind of like keep the energy going as we have these vocals and this bass kind of just giving us nonstop dopamine.
Yeah.
And we get to the pre-chorus, it's just a basic like rhythm chug.
Yeah, well, I wanted to mention the transition if I could real quick, because that's when everything like I'm thinking like ends of lines. Follow my rainbow is one of them, but then of course,
Only
one way to find out, and they get the ba ba da da da, and everything kind of joins in.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So we all hit those same notes, and then we get like a quick drum roll. Boom, we're in the pre-chorus.
Yeah. And yeah, the guitar does start like chugging, like you said. Possibly 2 guitars, both chugging. But we're not on the backbeat anymore.
High-low. Yeah.
Which happens a lot when you're trying to pump up the energy like that. In your chorus, you kind of jump to the, I want to say 4 beat, but that's wrong. The downbeat, yeah.
The downbeat, yeah. And that chug continues on the one guitar on your left speaker into the chorus, whereas the other one starts doing something slightly different. It's a little like, nothing like eye-catching, but it is doing like a boom, boom, boom. It's doing more like long notes.
The higher guitar?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of, or is this the...
It's okay.
I'm thinking
the vocal pattern. Like it's following.
You're talking about the chorus?
Yeah.
It kind of follows the vocals. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like da 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 da. And
then of course the bass is also kind of playing around that as well, but it's the bass on this song which fucking rocks.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. It's killer. It's the greatest bass in video game history, probably.
Who knew? Oh, okay. No, I'm trying to think of. I mean, there's some songs in The World Ends With You. Neo, The World Ends With You.
Yeah, I was thinking Persona 5 has some good bass tracks.
Persona 5 has some good bass, yeah. Anyway, there's some good bass out there.
There's some good bass out there, and this is certainly amongst it.
Yeah. The chorus seemed long, but it makes sense. Like, I was listening to it, like, we're still doing the chorus? It's not even that long. Because it's like 20 seconds? I don't know. Is that long? Not really. They just do it twice. It does
have like that kind of gap in it. It is just basically a repeated section, right?
Yeah.
And it is slower than the pre-chorus, which is weird. Because it's follow me, dum, 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 set me free. Like the
it's
vocals
more spaced
are a lot
out.
slower, spaced out than they are in the verse and pre-chorus.
That's almost like the breather section. Like it's the chorus,
enough.
it's the chorus, but like you can kind of sit back in it. Not that much.
Are they replicating like a runner's high here, Alex?
Maybe.
Or you're going so fast that everything around you is also like moving slowly, again, like Sonic the Hedgehog style.
Or it's the time where like they're slowing down for you, and because the chorus is it's addressing you now, right?
Yeah.
So like they're slowing down and you're like, now you got to come with me. And then we transition again and they get back into the verse. Without much time between them.
Yeah.
But there's some new stuff. There's a new guitar on the right side that plays with the backbeat guitar. Kind of alternates with the non-muted parts.
Yeah, and it goes from so it'll play in the right side and then it'll play in the left side.
Yeah, it moves. Yeah,
bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, so there's a new guitar. Is there much more that happens like new in the rest of the song? There's some additional harmonies.
Yeah.
Going into like pre-chorus and chorus and like more, but like that's kind of all that I got for the new stuff in the back half.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like we said, it's basically pop punk with a bit of ska elements, particularly being that the bass is so active. I think it's a very ska move.
Yeah. Some of that third wave ska.
Hell yeah. And then you kind of get like a big finish, or like they kind of trick you. They're like, "I'll make it through," but then we do like a rundown on the drums. And I go, "Oh yeah,
yeah." What I was gonna do, but I forgot. I went back and I replayed the level because it's just the first level.
Yeah.
But I didn't like wait around and see what happens. Like, does the song end if you take long enough? Or,
right.
Like, do they
it's
loop
tricky because
sure.
when you get because I watched a video of the level because I didn't feel. I mean, my GameCube was plugged in. I could have just done it. I don't know why I didn't, but I didn't. And when you grab like an invincibility power up, it plays a different track over it and then resets the track.
Oh.
So it's very possible in a regular play to not
just
have the track loop.
Oh.
Because it'll just because it'll come back to it'll play the start of the track. So rather not reach the end of the track. Like it will loop, but you won't come to the end because it'll just restart it rather than let it play through. So that's what I can tell you about that, Alex, from a gameplay perspective.
One
more story about this
before
we get into the official covers. Unless you have more to say about this, the original version.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So I can't talk about this cover officially because I don't think there's a recording of it. But when I was in my journalism program in 2018, I had to shoot a live event, and I shot a play that took place in a little wrestling ring, which was pretty cool. I shot some photos of that. But afterwards, they had a band playing, and that band played a cover of "Escape from the City," and that fucking rocked. Just saying.
Yeah, right on.
I really needed people to know that. I wish I remember the name of the band. They're pretty cool. I know one of the dudes in it, kind of, but it was a great time.
Calgary band,
and yeah, a Calgary band. Calgary-based Calgary band.
Right on.
So, hey, there's that. And if you are a band and you're like, damn, I wish we could cover more video game music, do this one, guys. Come on. Wake up.
Yeah, there's at least this song.
That's right. Alex, we got to talk about some covers, though.
We do have to talk about some covers.
And we start out, as we sometimes do with video games, with an official version by the Sega Sound Team and Cash Cash in 2011.
Oh, yeah. Rolling around at the speed of sound. Got places to go, gotta...
Yeah, this one is from the Sonic Generations soundtrack.
Yes.
So I actually last night, because Sonic Generations is on sale on Steam right now, I bought the game and played through to this level like last night. It's early-ish level. I don't know how long the game is, but it's like the second level in the second batch of levels. So I did have to fight one questionable boss.
Oh boy.
How Sonic Generations works is every level has a classic Sonic version, which is all 2D, and then a like modern Sonic version, which is sometimes 2D, but usually like behind like 3D camera kind of thing.
Okay, yeah.
So this version of the song is from the classic Sonic version of the level, which they call Act 1. And then
one
there's another remixed version that plays
that plays in Act 2.
Modern Sonic, Act 2. There's
Modern
also
Sonic.
Yeah, exactly. There's also a third version of the song that plays in the level select. That's like a violin version, like
Ooh.
entirely strings, which is pretty entertaining as well.
That is interesting. Because I find like key to the song is what their idea was, and that's like energy and up tempo-ness. So was that strings version up tempo, or was it like lo-fi beats to chill and study to?
It was not. They didn't slow it down, or they didn't slow it down much. But it was just level select, right? So it was like if you stood in front of because level select you run around.
Right. It's like
you stood in front of the level, you hear the melody basically, but like it's just all strings.
It's meant to like suggest it to you. You're like, oh my.
Yeah.
I see. So Alex, Cash, they're an American electronic group consisting of 3 DJs. And they work with Sega sometimes. Sega has like a big pool of like contributing musicians.
Yeah, which is like, I get it, because obviously they need to get music for games and stuff, but like it's weird and not something that I have much visibility into. But I mean, I've heard like even the recent Sonic game, Sonic Frontiers, apparently has got a pretty solid soundtrack.
I believe that. They're like really committed to their popular music take when it comes to Sonic games. Like, and the crazy thing is that goes back to like at least Sonic 3 when they were hiring Michael Jackson for tracks. So it's not something that I like expected, because even coming in this week, I was like, right, Crush 40 does the Sonic soundtracks, and that's not really the case. Crush 40 works on Sonic games sometimes, and Jun Senoue is typically a contributor. But like, it's a lot of just like other people. It's like several people from the Sega sound team, and then you get American artists, you get YouTubers like in their collaborations on Sonic anniversary projects and stuff. Again, like Sega does all this weird shit because they kind of have to, because they are number 2 in the jumping mascot game.
Got to branch out, yeah.
And it's like we said, it's interesting results, and this is one of them. And it's what do you think about this one, Alex?
What I thought was cool about this one, and it makes sense in the context of how it's used in the game, but they really make it sound more like chiptune-y, and like electronic.
Yes.
Which plays into it's because it's the classic Sonic version.
Right.
Of the song. So yeah, there's a lot more sounds that have that feel to it, like retro. Video
there is
not that this isn't technically a retro video game song these days, but even more
2011.
Retro. Yeah,
but calling back, you're right, because there is like and I thought that the synths on this and everything were kind of safe, but it may be more so that they're diving into like the Sega kind of sound bank and being like, well, here's some stuff that sounds like original Sonic. Particularly on the chorus and stuff, that kind of like big hype up synth that comes in, that you're like, okay, I can see myself going through loop to loops on the original Sonic to this. Like, it makes sense. So yeah, it is like throwback electro pop. Yeah,
a little bit of that. But yeah, it's very much. It's also like got that more modern, like dancey feel to it, right?
For sure.
I mean, it's got the like huge kick, 4 on the floor kick. Like all the riffs are on synthesizer. Even like the intro is like a bum bum ba ba dum bum bum ba dum. Like it's not slap bass anymore.
No, it's this little digital synth kind of emerging from like water almost, because it starts out a little like compressed and comes out.
And then there's some other more modern stuff. I say modern, even more modern when it came out 10 years ago. But like, you know, the like heavy auto-tune sound.
Particularly on the vocals. Yeah. What is the line he says where it's like, is it the second verse where it's very auto-tuned?
I think it is. I didn't really put timestamps, but
that's the one where he talks about
on the line live and learn. It's like, got all that auto-tune stuff going on, or like rapid pitch. Digital pitch correction.
Yeah, it's very much like a speak and spell got sentience.
Yeah. So amusing. What other? There's more synth stuff. Like I mean, we talked about following the vocals with the guitar on the original. The synthesizer doing that. Pre-chorus also has like intervals. Do-de, 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 do-de.
Yeah. As far as like remixes go, it's one that it falls into this realm of like celebrating the original more so than trying to like replace it. It's just like, remember how good that song was?
Yeah.
Here's like a little synthed up version. And you're like, well, this isn't as good, but I think this cover version agrees with my mindset that the original kicked ass. So like, I don't know. Insofar as the song can musically express the idea of the original being good.
Yeah, it definitely feels reverent, but I think the game Sonic Generations kind of has that too. And
Yeah,
because
exactly.
it's for a game, like it's probably maybe a little safer, or like it's background music ultimately.
Yeah, because Sonic Generations is, I'm assuming, the 20th anniversary celebration game. Because 2021,
Like that.
I believe, is the 30th anniversary. So
Yeah.
2011 would place this right in that point. And yeah, it is like a look how far Sonic's come. Here's some old hits put in a newish light. So yeah, it's it's an official version. It's not badly made. It's got some good throwbacks to the original.
They definitely make more change-ups than like the other remixed version, because in the modern Sonic level, it's much closer. And I don't know if it's like it's a remix. I don't know if they re-recorded Ted Poley and Tony Parnell's lyrics or not, but they're definitely credited on the album.
Right. And they do have like there's like a different guitar solo and things on that. There's like, it's minor changes, my understanding.
And like the level itself has kind of similar, like it's mostly the same. You can see, it's similar, but maybe it's a bit bigger because, we got more powerful hardware now. Like this is a field instead of just a little patch of grass kind of thing. And like there's a whole sequence where there's a truck chasing you. Should we talk about, we didn't mention that before.
We didn't mention the big gun truck that chases you.
Yeah, there's a big gun truck that chases you. The camera flips around 180 degrees, so you're running into the camera, cannot see where you're going.
Yeah.
That happens in this version of the level as well, in the Generations version, but the truck like has buzzsaws on it that it like shoots at you, and at one point you run on a wall and it like also drives on a wall.
Nice.
So yeah.
Because that truck is insane. It's larger. It's literally the size of the street, so it's taking up the sidewalk.
Yeah, and just like knocking cars out
of the way. It's ridiculous. But also, that truck chase scene itself is a throwback to the original Sonic Adventure, where you get chased by a whale with that same perspective.
True, and it's weird, because in the original, like, if you stop, or if you mess up, or if you get hit, like, you fall into the ocean and die immediately.
Yeah.
But in Adventure 2, I guess, that seems not great, but also the way they fixed it was like, if the truck gets into you, it kind of bounces off.
Yeah.
It's like a massive truck, but it cannot defeat one hedgehog.
Yeah, or just like buildings. Like realistically, it gets caught on some buildings. It would just that thing's so huge and has such momentum behind it. It's right behind Sonic. Like it would just fucking blow those buildings out. But hey, if you're asking for realism in a Sonic the Hedgehog game, I don't know, man. Maybe games about big running rodents aren't for you. But what might be for you is a version by Skye Rocket in 2017.
Skyrocket, yes. Skyrocket. I found a description of Skyrocket by Skyrocket. Described in the music as pop punk, electro rock, and perhaps even kawaii as hell. That might have been a specific song.
Are you sure that wasn't a description from Gwen Stefani?
I don't know who wrote it.
Super kawaii. Yeah, Skye makes songs that sound like shooting stars, according to Skye.
Yeah.
And so what are they doing on this version? They also call themselves the Sleepy Song Maker. I don't know if that means they make songs that are sleepy, or that they are sleepy in making songs.
This one doesn't feel sleepy.
No, certainly not. It feels more pop punk, if you can believe it.
Yeah,
the vocals.
even moving more into like emo, I think.
Yeah, because you know what? Similar to Quiet Drive, who we talked about a couple weeks back now.
Yeah.
It's a very similar vocal style.
With that like kind of like tight sound. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And it's also very electronic, and I think part of that is it's like kind of bedroom production.
Yeah. It is
all
like the
done on
bedroom
repeat.
production version of the Cash version in some ways, because like that opening little dum is, I think, like a sonic sound file being used.
Yeah, it seems like if there's more, as much as like having more electronic stuff was like, oh, it's a little bit more like bleepy and bloopy like a Genesis. This like actually has probably the Genesis sounds as far as I can tell.
You get like a Genesis jump, you get the ring collection noise.
Yeah. And a lot of other stuff. Like this is an extremely busy version.
Yes.
And like constantly doing different things, not even necessarily coming back to them ever.
No.
But yeah, it's a lot of stuff. I mean, which kind of fits in with the song, right?
Yeah, in terms of like upbeat and
the
fast
sonic
tempo,
mood.
we've got that for
Like
sure.
New thing. Like here, we got some twinkly sounds. We'll do this laser sound for a bit. Now there's an explosion. We're doing our piano arpeggio now. I'm going to say best one or something like that, which might be a reference to something. I don't know.
Right, yeah.
And now the vocals are like filtered. So it's all kinds of stuff happening, constantly changing.
Yeah, immensely busy, and you kind of just have to pick pieces that stand out to you and be like, okay, yeah, there's some sonic like sounds. Oh, we got some guitar going really quick. Yeah. It kind of sits in between the original version and the Cash remix, and is like a worse version of both, I think. No offense to Skyrocket.
To Skyrocket. This is where it's definitely, I found it a little more interesting to listen to than the Cash version. Just because of the like sheer
like number of things coming
like
at you. That
why?
busyness
Yeah,
is,
just
like,
the number of things happening.
That's fair. Yeah,
and it's got like there's times where because the Cash version has like kind of a breakdown section,
right?
In the second verse, and this one like almost seems like it's gonna do that, and then just doesn't do that.
Right.
And just
that's
like
fair.
keeps going. It kind of chills out, but like it's very, very brief.
Oh,
chill.
that's why they say no break.
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that part. There's so much happening. It's easy to miss a little thing.
Because they kind of do like a breakdown that starts to sound at around like 155. And then 2 minutes to 201. They'll, no break! Because they're not actually going to do a break for you.
They do say no break. Yeah, because it really sounds like that's going to happen.
That makes sense.
And then it doesn't. And then, yeah, it's a lot of like chiptune sounds after that, kind of for the outro. And then like with bit crush sounds.
Yeah, I will give Skyrocket this. It risks more than the Cash version does. Like, it's trying harder, where like Cash has the safety net of the Sega sound team to be like, well, let's make this very safe and sound a lot like
let's
the
make
original.
it appealing.
Let's make it appealing, whereas this person was like, I'm just going to chuck a bunch of sounds I like and push them through 2.5 minutes of Sonic. Like, that's the song.
It's very maximalist.
Yes.
In that way. But I like the retro tie-in, and I'm not 100% sure what I feel about what I will say is inconsistency, but it's more like perhaps incoherency. I don't know. Like, there's just the fact that it's constantly introducing new things and then discarding them. Even though it does kind of make sense in terms of the like short attention span that you might associate with like Sonic.
Right, and with like high speed. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's depending. It's a take it or leave it version. Either you like it or you don't.
Yeah, I'm sure plenty of people would leave it based solely on the vocals, just because it's the like kind of emo pop punky sound that.
And I will say, not the strongest vocals in that genre I've heard.
Fair.
There's some points where you can feel like they're really straining. And it's
true.
Like, and that's like they have nowhere to go, because that was my other thing, is like they start out pretty rolling around at the speed of sound, and then like how do you go higher than straining your vocals that much already?
Right.
It's tough. There's no upward momentum vocally, and so you're just stuck there.
So yeah, maybe like transpose it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. So you have somewhere to go.
But we've got nowhere to go but acoustic covers now, Alex. It's all acoustic from here.
That's all. That's the only thing that's left. Yeah.
So we got Suko G in 2017.
Rolling around around at the speed of sound. Got places to go, gotta follow my rainbow. Can't stick around, have to keep moving on. Guess what lies ahead?
Yeah, French guy.
Yes.
Looking him up, he's disappeared.
Yeah, apparently he's a former YouTuber.
Yeah, I don't know what the story is, but like looking at his YouTube channel, it's deleted. Like all the videos are deleted.
Yeah.
He's got 471,000 subscribers and no videos. So I don't know what story is there, but because you know, we like to look up videos, and this seems like the kind of guy who would do a video of this.
Yeah.
He's a YouTuber, but nothing.
And yeah, you even look at his like album cover for this on Spotify, and it's like, yeah, this guy would do the YouTube cover video that we all expect, where it's like him playing all the different instruments. But of course, there's only like one instrument on this.
There is only one instrument. So yeah, what happens in this one? Well,
not enough, in my opinion.
It's an acoustic version. Yeah.
Yes.
He strums that guitar. He sings.
Yes.
I
think we start off strong conceptually. I think in terms of if you're going to do an acoustic cover of a song that's about running around the city really quick, you know you're a little up your own ass. So I think leaning into that and having fun with what is a silly concept and so him opening with these whoa, these kind of like over emotive, like we're gonna get into some real emotional stuff kind of singing is funny.
We're gonna go places.
And a strong start. He just does not back it up with the rest of the song.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that interesting. I mean, there's also kind of the thing he does with the strumming. Like, I kind of like it during the verses, and then it just becomes more like, I don't know. It's just like sounds like a really straightforward chord progression the rest of the time. It's very much like it's da da da. I don't know. It's a common progression, and I'm blanking on what it is.
Yeah, it's that it's just like dance.
So I guess one thing I'll give him is like he doesn't really slow it down much, which I think was a good idea for this style because I don't know. I feel like it would just be too much if it was also slow, like a slow acoustic version of this song.
Oh yeah, so yeah, he's only like 30 seconds longer here, give or take.
Yeah,
and that's like that's fine.
Is that from being slow? I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but he's not like you know he's not like trust in what you can't see. Trust in what you can't see. Like it's not full pace, but it's not slowed all the way down either.
Yeah.
He needs like a second like comedic beat. We need like either that like that guitar expands to like a banjo or something where it's like or like we need more silliness in here or like a breakdown section where it's just hand claps or like it needs more dynamics in here. Cuz right now it's just something you would do and be like, "Hey, yeah, any song can be 4 chords. Check this out."
Right.
It's Escape from the City from Sonic the Hedgehog 2 or Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
Yeah, it sounds a bit like, I mean, this would be probably amusing at like an open mic or something.
Yeah.
But also still probably feel a bit lacking.
Yeah, we would probably do one verse chorus and then lock it down there, you know?
Yeah. And we'd be like, I remember that. This guy played the Sonic song.
Yeah. Now, we want to talk about somebody who does a kind of one-note concept that I think hits a lot stronger. Let's talk about Longest Solo Ever in 2019.
Longest Solo Ever. This is off of an album called Green Hill Funk.
Yeah, Green Hill Funk. I think this one leans more disco than funk, though. Certainly some funk elements in there, but it's got a very disco feel to it to me.
This song is interesting to me because it's basically 2 songs put together.
Okay, what do you got?
The second song is called Conscious Club. It's a Wolfpack song.
Okay.
But so much of this song is like from that. I don't know. I don't know if they have a common ancestor, but I'm listening to that and it's basically like they did. I would recommend the instrumental version for analysis reasons. But it kind of sounds like they're doing City Escape, but also Conscious Club, which I'm not like, maybe there's earlier funk or disco music that does that stuff, probably. But to me, just the combination of elements is like also in that other song. It's weird.
Right.
Like the bum, 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 piano chords, the turnaround is like the same. Da da ba ba ba. Like they do that. It's very, very similar.
Yeah, I wonder how much of that is just like primordial funk, like common ancestry. Because like something about like even the rhythm that just kind of like feels like it could be any funk song / disco era song.
Yeah, but there are similarities I noticed between these two songs.
Yeah. But I think it works functionally. You still get that like momentum feeling, which is I think key to this track and like Sonic music in general is like feeling like you're moving ahead.
Yeah, to be like kind of a bit slower, but still have that momentum.
Yeah.
But without like the fast guitars kind of thing.
Yeah, and part of that is I guess that very like disco styled bass simplifies. It's like boom ba doom ba doom ba, like root octave kind of deal.
Yeah, bass is it's
the backbone of this song. Like it makes it work.
Yeah, super funky version. So lots of that. I mentioned the piano chords. The kind of da 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 da. That's the regular piano chords. In the pre-chorus, they go double time. Da da da. There's a EP.
Yep.
Lots of EP playing. And then the vocals are like higher in the higher register, which is a little more funky. That's not true, but it can be.
Yeah, and they got it feels like high funk / disco vocals. They follow the same kind of like emphasis structure of the original. So when it's like, live and learn, only one way to find, like they punch those same moments.
Yeah, and I guess
I find it. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, because it does feel slower, like the bass intro, like they still do it, but like it's a bit slowed down, but still feels good.
Yeah,
it fits with the rest of it.
Yeah, you get to kind of sit in those, and you're doing that slap pop style, which has a good emphasis to it.
Yeah.
So you don't lose energy, even though you are slowing down. You just get more punch in each note. Boom, 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 boom. You're like, oh, fuck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a lot of simple elements that come together, and like it kind of just rinses and repeats, which is maybe the only like flaw with it, in my opinion, is that it just like it sets it up and it does 2 rounds of that. You're like, okay, all right. And the elements are all very simple. Like you said, it's like, how fast is the piano playing? Is it single time or double time? Like that's your big change up in the verse to chorus structure. And all it's doing is like hitting single chords. Like it's not technically like crazy.
Yeah, not certainly in terms of like the harmony side, but like
to
get some good rhythm going on.
Yeah, good rhythm. You get some good layering of elements. You get like a little extra kind of string synth, or maybe just strings that come in on the chorus. Like it's good elements, and they come together well. I think it's a very listenable version, and I think, like we said, it keeps a bit of that momentum despite being slower.
Yeah, so it works.
Yeah, this one works, buddy. This one works.
It works.
Let's talk about a different one, though, Alex. Let's talk about Lost Tree in 2021.
Yeah, Lost Tree. Now we're slowing things down.
Slowing things way down.
Because Lost Tree, it does like chill remixes. And, well, I'm reading all this description. I'm seeing lo-fi hip-hop, lo-fi house, allegedly vocal lo-fi, but there's no vocals in this version.
Yeah, nothing on this one. So yeah, lo-fi chill project from a UK-based producer, composer, and vocalist who also goes under the name DJ Sayer, or Sare, maybe S-A-R-E.
Yeah, I wouldn't know either.
But yeah, here we've hit, this is kind of a classic video game cover, is the lo-fi chill remix.
Yeah, everything is like heavily tape echoed, which we've talked about this kind of thing before. Everything,
Yeah, absolutely.
Big like saturated sound, lots of that like slight detuning, particularly later on, that you might get from an old tape or from a tape that's not being played at the right speed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, lots very lo-fi, very chill. So like the intro bass, yeah, totally slowed down, changed to like a bum 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 bum, but like they keep it kind of rhythmic in that way.
Yeah, it's a cool sounding synth, and I like the way it sounds. I like a lot of what the sounds are on this. But sometimes a question we ask on the show is, does this need to be a cover of the song then? Can it just be its own thing? And like, I don't think this one benefits from being an Escape from the City cover. It does feel very
different.
Yeah.
Obviously, because the original was so hectic, so upbeat. It was nice listening through the playlist to have one at a different speed.
Sure, yeah. Playlist-wise, like, it's a nice little break, and you're like, oh, this is different.
Yeah. As for that, I don't know, but I did like this one.
Yeah, I think we got some real money in that opening synth, and then just like, I don't know, change up the melody and stuff, because we get like a kind of lullaby vocal track. This
yeah, it's not as much of a slave to the riff.
Yeah, certainly not.
As like the original, and so it's a lot more focused on that vocal synthesizer or that synth that follows the vocal melody. And of course, everything is just so echoey. And like if I'm comparing it to another one, it also feels fairly busy comparing it to like Skyrocket.
Sure,
it feels busy at times just because it has that like ambient lo-fi sound where like everything just like fills out the space.
Right, there's always something filling that space.
It's got a lot more consistency. It doesn't have that like now we're doing this sound effect, now we're doing this sound effect kind of thing. But it does, switch things up as it goes, like I was mentioning, as it goes through. Because it's slower, it doesn't repeat the verse. It just goes like first, pre-chorus, chorus, and then repeats the chorus. And ends up being about a little bit longer than the original with all that. But like once it goes through again, like this time it cut down. And like now the synth is like detuned, right? It's got that like, tape detuned sound, and then like the drum beat kind of cuts out or comes back, and like now we have this big synth sweep, and like there's string stuff. So like it's a little more in terms of the elements, like, this is what I would expect. I would expect now we're getting excited. Oh, we'll do the string synth, right? Near the end. Yeah. Fills out the space kind of thing.
And, like, you have to do something because you've taken out all of the momentum from this track. So you need these big, like, ambient fillers, or else, my God, this version would be very boring.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, if I was at a Sonic-themed cafe and this was playing, would I be like, this is great. I'm so glad that a slow version of Escape from the City is playing. Or, I don't know, should this just be something else? Because I like that synth, and they spend a lot of time on the outro on that synth, because I think they know that that's the best part. So I wonder if we should just take that, forget its Sonic origins and then just build something else around it.
It is still pretty heavily based off of the riff from the original.
That's true, but, wasn't it Bob Dylan who would listen to songs on the radio and be like, hey, I like that chord progression, and just take that and just do something with it? Like,
yeah, you could move it to something else and not notice that it's
because like
Escape from the City
sounds a lot different.
It does sound quite different.
It's very different. But yeah, that's and like maybe I'm just like, again, I have a huge nostalgia for the song, so maybe hearing it slow, I just go, no, that's not my Escape from the City.
Not my Sonic.
Not my Sonic.
My Sonic isn't slow. What is this?
How dare
slow
you?
Sonic game? Sonic 3D Blast. What is this? Sonic 3D Blast?
Yeah, what is this? Sonic 3D Blast? More like Sonic 3D my ass. Got him. All right.
Like Sonic 3D no blast processing.
That's right. Fucking.
I hope that's not too deep a cut. That's something people know about Sonic, right? Blast processing.
Blast processing. That's how you process all the blasts in the game.
Yeah.
But we need to process now the 2021 version by Crush 40 and
We do.
Nate Wants to Battle.
Nate Wants to Battle.
Rolling around at the speed of sound. Got places to go, got to find.
Who has a different name now, I think. I think he's no longer Nate Wants to Battle, but it's
I
actually
think his name is Nate.
Oh, yeah, certainly. I'm certain his legal name isn't one word, Nate Wants to Battle.
Right. I don't know, man. Yeah, I've seen channels. Let's see. Nate Wants to Battle, Sean Christmas, Nate and Dookie. Give Heartbeats. Ghost Fight. Wait a minute. Did we talk about Ghost Fight?
Ghost Fight!
I feel like we talked about Nate Wants to Battle in the past, but I can't remember.
I think so too, but I can't remember.
I couldn't. Like, I
when.
looked at our previous video game episodes, or the ones I remember, and I couldn't find a Nate Wants to Battle. Excuse me.
We sure it wasn't like Objection? Was he not on that one?
I didn't see him on it.
Okay. What other ones have we done? Maybe he was on. I don't know, but I do feel like I remember that. But you know what? Who knows? Who can say what Nate wants to do? He wants to battle. So he's a YouTuber and he's part of some record label now.
Yeah, and it would be super cool to this is like getting called up to the big leagues, right? Crush 40 calls you and is like, hey, do you want to perform our song with us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I freaking do. Because I guess Ted Poley was busy.
Yeah, I guess so. Doing other stuff.
Doing other things.
Escaping from the city.
So this is a 30th anniversary performance. This was in 2021. Part of the big Sonic 30th anniversary celebration.
Live show. It's got the band. It's got... He sings... Nate sings the song, but he's like not
possibly
there.
Remotely. Yeah,
Seems to be like pre-recorded. I think
that would make sense.
I don't think you could do it remotely. Like I don't think you could.
The delay would be too much. Yeah.
So, it seems to be pre-recorded. But that's cool.
Yeah, and so we start out with just kind of like a little,
and they have
rock
an orchestra.
Jam, yeah.
That's another thing I wanted to mention
because it is a symphony performance.
Yeah.
You get Crush 40 backed by a symphony. So so I believe that is Jun Senoue on the guitar.
Yeah, it seems to be.
But is it really Crush 40 if Johnny G's not there? And also,
know.
where the fuck is Johnny G? He's American, so he's definitely not the bass player.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know, man. He clearly can perform with the name. But was he really involved in this song?
Not really, because it's not even a Crush 40 original. So it's... But this YouTube video does say performance by Crush 40, so that's my...
I thought he wrote it.
Jun Senoue composed it.
Yeah.
There's no actual credit for Crush 40 on this, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway.
Listen, man, I'm just as surprised as you are.
Yeah. It's not a Crush 40 song? What?
Maybe that's where Tony Parnell comes in if he's not singing on this, if it is Ted Poley, because Tony Parnell does some writing for Sega as well.
Oh, maybe.
So maybe he wrote the track. Listen, man, I don't know.
Yes, like you said, they've got like this slower intro, which is a bit weird, and like to the point where it almost feels like they're like doing a fake out.
Yeah,
like psych, it was Escape from the City all along, or it would be if they weren't playing the opening cutscene from the game on a big screen at the same time.
Yeah, so I think it's to kind of like hype people up a bit. Yeah, I guess you're right. It's like a psych out, and then people start seeing that, and then you know what's going to come, and you're like, well, how are we going to get from this kind of slow rock jam to Escape from the City?
And how do they do it? With strings, kind of.
With strings, yeah. So we start filling in the back with some strings, and then the strings do that kind of like big hype up build.
Yeah.
Da-na-na-na-na-na. And then boom, you get this
the bass
fucking cool dude on bass. And then it lets us know that Nathan Sharp wants to battle.
Yeah, and then he comes in. It's kind of weird how they show it on the screen. Actually, I'm looking at the credits in this version, and it shows composer Jun Senoue and Ted Poley, and those are the only two names it lists.
Interesting. Does that mean Tony Parnell is the vocalist and Ted Poley is the lyricist?
Maybe. I don't know why this is
You
not
think it would
recorded.
be clearer? Yeah, the year was 2001, not
Yeah.
fucking 1945.
It's not like they recorded then disappeared or like died or something. No,
Yeah,
they still
also-
perform this song.
Yeah, and they all work with Sega. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
it's a bit annoying, but it's fine. I guess it's fine.
Anyway, so the way it's shown in this recording, this video, is there's like three kind of I guess hexagonal kind of
Yeah, these.
things on the screen, and one of them shows Nate, one of them shows the game, and one of them
gameplay,
shows
yeah.
the symphony.
Yeah, and sometimes it'll be Nate on two screens with the gameplay on one. So the bottom right one always has gameplay,
Yeah.
and then the top and the left one kind of switch and sometimes merge. I mean, they're still separate, but they're showing a continuation of the same thing.
Right.
But yeah, it is typically like, here's some symphony, here's Nate up at the top. Yeah. So we're talking a lot about the visuals. Let's talk
We
like
are.
instrumentally. It really is the same track.
Yeah,
But-
it's close. It's got the symphony to punch things
Yeah,
up a bit.
punched up by symphony. Again, this is like a like more so than even the Cash version. This one is a like celebration of how cool the original is.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm trying to think. There's not even really like anything hugely specific. Not even any like hugely specific things that the orchestra does. And I'm like, yes, that's the orchestra. It's like, no, they do the swells when it's exciting. Like they replace, because the original had like several guitars, and they were like, oh no, we need to put this on the, violin or whatever, right? Or several strings. So like they're doing that part of like some of the distorted guitars. Or something similar. And there's horns too, right? Because
That's right.
The whole orchestra. So the original doesn't really do horns, but there are horns in the like pre-level intro section.
Right.
Which is a little funny. But now they have horns in the actual song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But they basically they kind of replace the guitars and fill out the space, right?
Yeah, it's just like, symphonic ambiance / like hype up. So it's like it fills out the space and it gives us it takes up some of that energy. It's like, here, it's not just going to be just the bass giving you that. It's going to be just big pounding strings. If strings can pound.
If strings can pound. Oh, strings can pound. And honestly, like for the vocals, I would probably, I don't have much to say about them other than like they're pretty much like perfect.
Yeah,
like,
they're
as a version of the original lyrics is like, yeah, that is as good as you could do it, I think.
I think so, yeah. Like in terms of like, is he offering a new take on it? Not at all. Is he doing a bad job of doing the original? Not at all. He's
he just like does
right
it and like totally nails it, and it's like, yeah, okay. He does a great job. Like, way to go, dude.
It's like the original singer was sick and he's the understudy. He's just like, well, I'll come in. I've watched him do it. I know how to do it. Here's how you do it. And he does it. And it is done.
Yeah. No changes, but no deficiencies.
No deficiencies.
Totally solid.
And I mean, that's kind of hard to do in any field. So like, good on you, Nate, for that. But also, you're not like reinventing the Escape from the City
I don't
game.
have much more to say about his vocal.
No, I think we said more than I imagined we would.
Yeah.
But you want to talk about horns, Alex? You want to talk about hype? You want to talk about ska. And so that's why we're going to 2022 to talk about the third rates.
I would love to talk about the third rates. I looked at their website and I had to look up what STL was because it says we're mostly from STL. It's St. Louis City.
Okay.
The city of St. Louis. So I was like, I know what ATL is.
Yeah, you're like, so not Atlanta.
Which one's STL? STL makes even more sense because it's just the first three letters. Yeah, they're a ska. They're a ska band. I feel like a lot of the time we end up doing ska as our last cover. Is ska like
in a revival
re-emerging? Are we in a ska revival right now?
Well, real ska hardcore people will tell you ska never died. Just kind of stopped being in the mainstream. But I think in the same way that we're returning, like the decade cycle, I think maybe the 90s is in the hot spot.
Yeah, I guess so. And some of that like late 90s in particular.
Yeah, but there is like a lot of ska bands, and for one reason or another, maybe they're not just being created, but rather just getting more spotlighting in this
True. And
this
we
time
know what
period.
ska is now.
We know what Skye
Which
is.
was not true 3 years ago.
That's true. That was one of the forgotten arts.
Yeah. I guess they call it the third rates. I was going to say, is this fifth wave ska? But they call themselves the third rates, and I think that might be a reference to the fact
reference
that
to like third wave
third
ska.
wave ska. And the fifth wave thing was a joke because it's definitely, third wave.
Third wave. We're in the third wave of ska.
I don't even know if there is a fifth wave of ska.
These guys are from San Luis.
Yeah, I feel like I'm keeping things off topic. But what do? They do a ska version.
For sure.
With one major problem.
Yes.
Maybe more. Definitely one major problem. I feel like they don't get the bass at the intro.
The bass is, it sounds a little
Something's
rough.
wrong, and I feel like that needed a few more takes. Like, I feel like it's slow or something. Like, it's not quite... they don't nail it.
I
it
wonder
doesn't
if
pop.
it's a tone issue or something, because they do try
might
to seem to be, like, hitting the lower parts of
definitely
the low end.
Yeah.
So it does sound a little muddy.
That might be it, too. There's something wrong with it.
I don't mind gnarly tone bass like that, but you're right in that the original, like, slaps and pops in the truest sense of the word. Like, it has punch, and it has, like, a good tone to it.
And this one feels a bit limp.
Mm-hmm.
And that's unfortunate, because honestly, I think the rest of it's pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the horns on the Crush 40 version there. Good. The horns on this, fantastic. Like they
do horns.
They're the ska horns, and they have such energy behind them. Just and you're like, oh fuck yeah, I can skank to this.
Yeah, and there's just like they're all over the place. Like you never know when there's going to be horns, and there's always horns.
Yeah.
Just playing all the time, either supporting things, and sometimes they just like play their own little riffs here and there,
Yeah.
And licks.
The bass, when we get into the verses, sounds fine to me at that point. We've recovered from whatever happened in the intro, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's just...
And we're starting to benefit from some of that lower
a punch
end.
up to have the spotlight on it.
Yeah.
But it's fine the rest of the time. The vocals.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, pretty decent. They feel like looser.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. These guys don't really care if they change the timing up a little bit or the melody a little bit.
Yeah, and even if his vocals sound like a bit rough at sometimes, it's part of the journey, right?
It feels like it's part of the performance, right?
Yeah.
Like he'll do like a like he doesn't, well, not like I did it, but like
yeah, but he lets it be loose.
Yeah, he lets it be loose.
There's a bit of more of that punk nature in this, less of the pop that you get in the original, because we're like, well, let's have the space to be human rather than a product.
Yeah. So that's cool. And it also, I mean, there's a lot of them that have that like hectic, busy feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, similar to how Skyrocket is, but not doing the same thing. Like it has the consistency.
Yeah. But yeah, big energy on this one. Loud drums, loud horns. Just a good drive.
Fortunately, there's only a brief part that's actually third rate, and then they pick it up.
That was really good. Yeah, dude, is there anything else to say about this one?
No, check it out.
I think that was a pretty good summary. So with that, we're going to get into our final verdicts, because that does it for the covers today. We got 3 categories: the worst version, the best version, and the best version for running to. This is a Sonic song. It's from a Sonic game. Which one of these are you going to get a run on to? Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Think about it. It makes sense.
Okay.
Alex, what's the worst version of this?
The worst version. I think I'll probably give it to Suko G.
Yeah.
Just the acoustic version was just not doing it for me. I think there could be an acoustic version of this, but this one didn't quite nail it.
Yeah, you got to be willing to do more than the bare minimum with an acoustic version.
Mm-hmm.
And he stopped there. He's like, well, I got the 4 chords and the truth. And as I said, it's 1 chord too many. He said, I don't care. But yeah, it doesn't do much. Like, its most interesting part is the intro, where he does some like whoa-wohs, and then we fall downhill from there pretty quick. So No good. Alex, what's the best version of this?
What is the best version of this? I liked a couple of them. But I didn't really think about, like, which one was number one, which you think by now I would.
You would. You would think that would always be on your mind.
You'd think. I was looking over them. I think it's the third rates.
I think you might be right there, Alex.
I think that's the one.
Like, if we go down the line here, the Cash version, solid but safe. The Skyrocket version, a little too busy for me. Suko is bad. Longest Solo Ever, very listenable, but not quite as dynamic as I would maybe like it to be.
Yeah, and I liked the Lost Tree one quite a bit. That one, actually, what I found this week was they kind of got stuck in my head as an amalgam. So like I would be humming along and it would just be switching between the different versions, basically.
Right, just picking out the best parts. Yeah, so you get like that intro synth from Lost Tree, those horns from the third
and
rates.
It was the intro synth from Lost Tree, yeah. And then so probably the third rates for their like consistency.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like a brave change up.
Yeah.
But it's like it hits. It's very good, I think.
It's logical.
Yes, it's logical. And the additions are nice. The intro bass is sloppy, so maybe you can just take that song, chop that out, put in the original bass intro.
Yeah.
Perfect. You're perfect.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem.
There you go. Third rate's best version. Alex, run in. Run in.
You know, we talked about workout music a little while ago. And the one that makes the most sense to me to like actually run to, because most of us aren't Sonic speed runners, is the Cash version from Sonic Generations. Just like it has the
a good beat pulse to match up to, a good pulse.
You can match up to, as opposed to just like the really, really fast, almost too fast for like jogging.
Right, yeah, because if you put on the original, you're going to be out of breath because you're like, oh shit, I thought I was Sonic the Hedgehog.
For a minute there.
Swept
my arms back.
Yeah, I picked up some momentum and then just boom, arms back. And that's not going to work out for you in the long run. Yeah, and truly a long run.
That one makes the most sense to me as a running song.
That's solid. I'm going to go a little off. I'm going to do Longest Solo Ever, which I think has a good, like, it's a slower pace, but it's still a good movement pace. And if you're cheating, I think, if you're like rollerblading to that, kind of like the Shadow the Hedgehog run where he's got the little rocket shoes.
Oh, yeah.
You're laughing. It's got that kind of that disco vibe. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. You could do the little spins and stuff where you're going backwards for a bit. Now you're having a party.
Definitely. Yeah. I like that. And I definitely run to the other song I said it sounds like, Conscious Club.
So, Conscious Club. So, hey, it's already got the Alex Mildenberger seal of approval.
Seal of approval.
Fantastic. That does it for our final verdicts. You got a similar opinion, different opinion, want to talk to us about a version we didn't talk about, hit us up on Twitter, #CoverMePod, @JakeTheCressy, @SmalexWiseGuy. We're still there for now. I don't know how long that's going to last. I'll let you guys know if we move to a new platform, by which I mean I'll move to a new platform.
Hey.
Alex is riding. Alex is the band on the Titanic. He's staying with it till the end.
Yeah.
You can email us as well, covermepod@gmail.com. Send us comments, questions, concerns, suggestions for future episodes. Always love to get suggestions. Of course, we're running up soon into a period of just like a lot of theme months here, so if you got suggestions, I hope they're either love songs or Bowie songs, because that's what's coming up, coming down the pipeline here. Be sure to rate and review us. We're on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, your favorite podcasting app, my favorite podcasting app, our favorite podcasting app. Rate and review us. We're still probably at a 3.9 on Spotify. Bump those numbers up, folks. Create a fake Spotify account. Listen to the show. Give us a 5-star. Send us an email saying you did it and call us the meanest name you can think of. And then we'll read it out loud and we will sob real tears, package those tears up, send them to you. Maybe. Probably not. But, hey, only one way to find out. Like they say in the Sonic song. Tell your friends about us. We have no marketing budget, so you got to tell everybody. Tell everybody you know. Tell all the people that you see that you listen to Cover Me. Follow me down. That'd be a good ending quote if we were doing the Doors song, but we're not. But I'll tell you what we do always say on Cover Me, because it is the end of the episode. As we always say on Cover Me, I'll make it through. Prove it to you. Cover me.